In a small but beautiful kingdom nestled between rolling hills and crystal-clear rivers, lived a princess named Nafisa. She was the daughter of a wise and kind king who was loved by all his people. Princess Nafisa was known far and wide not only for her beauty, which radiated like the morning sun, but also for her gentle spirit and humble nature, a rare quality for a princess. Unlike other noble children, Nafisa was raised not with excess and privilege, but with humility and respect for all people. Her father, the king, had taught her to be kind to her subjects and to value people not for their wealth or titles, but for the goodness in their hearts. As a result, Princess Nafisa often spent time in the town's marketplace, mingling with villagers, listening to their stories, and even helping the elderly and poor whenever she could. She had a quiet charm that endeared her to everyone, from the grand lords to the humblest of peasants. Years passed, and the time came for Princess Nafisa to marry. Her father, eager to find a suitable match, began inviting wealthy men, noble princes, and envoys from distant lands to the palace, hoping one would win Nafisa's heart. But despite their wealth and power, Nafisa was unmoved. She found the suitors distant, and their gifts extravagant but empty. She believed that her marriage should be with someone who truly understood her, someone who could connect with her soul. Nafisa approached her father one day and said, "Father, I know you seek a good husband for me, but I have a request." The king, both curious and concerned, nodded. "Speak your mind, my daughter." Nafisa continued, "I don't want a man who comes to me with wealth or titles. Instead, I want to marry a man who can prepare the one dish that speaks to my soul. A dish that brings me true comfort and joy. Let it be the test of true understanding and connection." The king was surprised but respected his daughter's wishes. She was his most prized possession and her happiness was all that he prioritized. "Very well," he said, "if that is your desire, we shall announce it to the kingdom. But remember, many will try, and I cannot guarantee that the man you dream of will succeed." Princess Nafisa smiled, confident in her heart. "Thank you, father. I believe that the right man will find his way." Word of the princess's challenge spread quickly through the kingdom. Men of all backgrounds, noble and common alike, prepared themselves, each certain they could win her favor. Every day, another suitor came to the palace with a dish prepared with the finest ingredients money could buy. Exotic spices from faraway lands, rare meats, and decadent sweets graced the palace tables. But each time, Nafisa took a taste and gently shook her head, offering polite thanks but turning the suitor away. These dishes, though impressive, did not reach her soul. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, and the princess's challenge became a local legend. Some townsfolk admired her determination, while others whispered that she was asking the impossible. Some even believed she was only rejecting all the men and stalling her own marriage because she was not ready to leave the comfort of her home. But Nafisa was unshaken. She knew what she was waiting for, and she was willing to wait as long as it took. One day, word of the princess's challenge reached a poor young man named Checheku, who lived on the edge of the kingdom. Checheku was a simple farmer, known to all as a gentle soul who worked hard but owned little. He was skilled in cooking with what little he had, often sharing his meals with others who were less fortunate than himself. When Checheku heard about the challenge, he felt a strange pull in his heart. He had seen the princess from afar on her visits to the marketplace, admiring her kindness and humility. Though he had never manned the courage to be in her midst, talk of harboring dreams of marrying royalty. Yet, something deep within him urged him to try, because why not? This was the barest minimum anyone could do to win the heart of the most beautiful woman in the kingdom. Checheku approached his mother, a wise woman who had taught him everything he knew about cooking. "Mother," he said, "I want to prepare a dish for the princess. I know I have little to offer, but I feel as though I must try." His mother smiled knowingly. "My son, you may be poor in wealth, but you are rich in kindness and spirit. If anyone can cook with soul, it is you. Make the dish that speaks to your heart, and you will speak to hers." This was all the inspiration Checheku needed, but what meal was he going to cook? And what meal hadn't already been cooked yet? Checheku thought about the ingredients he had grown up with and the dishes that brought him comfort. All that filled his mind was his personal favorite, coffee brokman. Coffee brokman was a simple yet beloved meal among his people. The dish, more like a snack, was easy to prepare. You only needed to roast your plantain on fire, then once ready, you beat the burnt portion away and eat with groundnuts. Coffee brokman didn't need much to prepare, but the meal demanded so much heart and attention. You take your eye off it 1 second, and you'd return back to see everything all burnt. For Checheku, the meal reminded him of home and warmth, and his mom's efforts to prepare some for him whenever urgency demanded. Checheku had hoped that its simplicity would touch the princess in a way the grand dishes of other suitors had not. With his mother's encouragement, Checheku prepared the dish with great care. He first went into his small backyard garden to harvest the ripest of plantains, then he came back to set the fire to roast them. Coffee brokman wasn't particularly the dish that you would expect to have dangerous aroma, but as plantain hardened on fire and changed color, they brought Checheku memories and a feeling of love. The plantain was ready, then because it was a type of meal that had to be served hot to savor every bite. With a heart full of hope, Checheku hurriedly set out for the palace, carrying his modest dish in his hands. On his way, he bought groundnuts, which was the accompaniment to the meal with his last penny. When he arrived at the palace gates, the guards eyed him with skepticism, as he was clearly not a wealthy man. But the princess had made her rules clear: any man, rich or poor, could attempt the challenge. So, they led Checheku to the banquet hall where Princess Nafaisa awaited. Nafaisa watched as Checheku entered, carrying his dish without pomp or grandeur, his clothes simple and worn but his expression humble and sincere. She could sense something different about him, something genuine that was lacking in the others. With a nod of encouragement from her father, Nafaisa took a seat, then a bite of the roasted plantain. Checheku asked her to taste it with the groundnut, which she did. As soon as she tasted it, a wave of warmth washed over her. The dish was not rich or elaborate, but it was full of flavor, simplicity, and love. It reminded her of the meals she had enjoyed with her people, the times she had spent among them in the marketplace, sharing in their joys and struggles. It was a taste that spoke to her very soul. Nafaisa looked up at Checheku, her eyes bright with gratitude and admiration. "This is the dish," she said softly, "the one I have been waiting for." The entire hall was silent as the realization dawned on everyone present. The king, surprised yet delighted, embraced his daughter's choice. "You have proven yourself not only as a worthy suitor but as a man of great heart," he said to Checheku. "You have won the heart of my daughter, and with it the place in our family." The king blessed their union, and in a grand celebration, Princess Nafaisa was wed to Checheku. As a gift, the king gave him land, livestock, and gold, ensuring that he would never know poverty again. But even with all the riches now at his feet, Checheku remained the humble man he had always been, cherishing the love he had won not through wealth or status, but through sincerity and a simple meal cooked from the heart. From that day forward, the people of the kingdom looked upon Checheku not just as the princess's husband, but as a reminder that no man is ever too poor or too simple to achieve greatness. For in the end, it was not wealth or title that had won the princess's heart, it was the soul of a man whose kindness and humility were richer than any treasure. So what they say is true, that no man is ever so worthless. True worth lies in the kindness of the heart. Lovely viewers, what other lessons did you pick from this story? Let me know in the comments below.